Hello, welcome to the Kuvings Healthy Kitchen. My name's Gary Dowse, and in the kitchen today I have the EVO820 cold press juicer. I'm going to do a masterclass and show you exactly what we can make using the cold press juicer. There's a couple of different accessories that can be purchased with this juicer. There's the standard juice strainer, which we're going to use to make some juice cold pressed, of course, but you can also get a smoothie strainer, which allows us to make a smoothie in a cold press juicer. And the other strainer is a sorbet strainer. So we want to be able to make some beautiful frozen fresh sorbet or some ice cream, yes, using the juicer. And I've also got a citrus attachment. So I'm going to show you how we can use all those extra accessories today. Now let me tell you what we're going to be making today. The first recipe I'm going to be making is a blueberry and mint ice cream. Yes, ice cream in the cold press juicer. We're then going to make a pecan chocolate milkshake. I know you're going to really love that recipe. Making a milkshake in your cold press juicer, who would have thought of that? Then we're going to switch it up and we're going to make some a smoothie, a green energy smoothie. And then the last thing I want to make for you guys is a pear Necessities, a pear juice from my book, The Juice Chef. I know that one's a little bit different and I'm sure you're going to love it. So let me tell you a little bit before we get started. The reason we're doing these masterclasses in the Kuvings kitchen is we want to inspire you to get your juicer out the cupboard and start making more juice because of the health benefits that you get when you're using your juicer. Because it doesn't matter if you have a Kuvings cold press juicer, if you have this model or any other of our models in the range, or even if you don't have a Kuvings juicer, get your juicer out and start using it, because look at all this beautiful produce here. All of this, what I call Mother Nature's medicines. You know, when we drink more of the juice of the plants, it turns what would normally be sitting down and eating kale. You're probably not going to sit down and just chew on a whole bunch of kale. But when you've got a cold press juicer, you can juice the whole bunch and extract that beautiful liquid nutrition. And much better for you guys to have the healthy, nature-made nutrition rather than pills and capsules and tablets. Wouldn't you agree? Because have you ever done this experiment? Let me go back. Now, some of you might remember from when you were kids, and you might have to ask your parents or your grandparents this one, but the carrot, right? Did you ever do this experiment at school where you cut a little slice of carrot and you put it onto a plate with some cotton wool bud and a little bit of water, and you put it on your windowsill and let the light and the water bring the carrot back to life? It would start growing again. That's because fruits and vegetables are still living. They're still alive. And we want that living life force energy into our bodies when we eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. And for me, guys, using a juicer, using a cold press juicer is the best way I know to get more living nutrition into your body. So hang around, watch some amazing recipes that we're going to do today, and get inspired to get your juicer out of the cupboard, put it on the kitchen sink and use it once in a while. So enough from me on that. Let's get into making some juice. So I'm starting with the sorbet strainer. So let me show you how it goes together here. So this is the sorbet strainer. We just pop it into the bowl. We put the press into the middle, and then the lid just simply pops on top and closes. We're ready to make some juice. So I'm going to start with, I've got some frozen blueberries here, and I've got some frozen bananas. Now you want a little bit of preparation with this recipe. I just want to cut the banana up into pieces about the size of the blueberries, so that all the ingredients blend together and make a nice looking ice cream for you. And I want to put a bit of mint in here. So I've got some mint. Hopefully you can see this mint here. And I'm just going to chop that up. So let's just run the knife through that. Okay, so just chop it up and chuck that in here as well. So that's your preparation for making this blueberry mint ice cream. Now what I want to do is I just want to mix it all around so that I'm not just putting one ingredient at a time through the machine. I want to put a handful of a bit of everything all at once. That way it'll come out perfect at the end. So with the Kuvings cold press juicer, the EVO820, it has a self-feeding flip gate lid. So all I need to do is I can just grab spoonfuls at a time of the ingredients and it'll feed itself. Start pushing out, squeezing and pressing the ice cream. Have a look at that, it's already starting to come through. Now I've got about 2 cups of frozen blueberries here to 1 banana, and the mint maybe about 6 to 8 leaves I think is probably enough, because when you use your cold press juicer it'll hold lots of flavour. Okay, a little bit more. Have a look at that, guys, starting to come out there now. Might as well finish it off. A couple more scoops. Okay, look at that. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. It's how we just turned some frozen ingredients into some beautiful ice cream. So let me just turn that off. And I'll put it into this container for you so you can get a good look. So you want to take your ingredients out of the freezer about 4 or 5 minutes before you put them through the juicer. Just make sure they're not rock hard, and they'll go through the machine even easier. Trust me, when you try this, you'll be amazed at how fruit, when you put the banana in, it turns into delicious creamy ice cream. All right, so let's put a few little extra things on this one. A little bit of coconut like that on the top of this one, and maybe a few fresh blueberries. So there you go, guys, a banana blueberry mint ice cream. Let's do the taste test. Looks good. The mint gives it a real freshness and has a real creaminess and a hint of the big strong blueberry flavour. I think you're going to love this one. I'll hand this one over to the guys. I'm sure it won't last long. Okay, let's look at what we can make the next recipe is going to be. So I'm not going to show, normally you would take this to the sink, give it a wash out, change the strainers over. We're not going to do that, so I'm just going to put that to the side. And now we have the other juice strainer. Okay, so let's have a look now. This time, we're going to make a nut milk. Now, did you know you could make a nut milk in a cold press juicer? Well, you can with the Kuvings cold press juicer. You want to use the juice strainer when you're making nut milks, and you want to also put the rotation wipers into the juicer. So they go in first, then we pop in the juice strainer, of course the press, and we're going to close that back up. All right, now I want to make a pecan nut milk. So you can use any nuts in a cold press juicer to make a juice. Almond, of course, is quite popular. Walnuts, you can make nut milk out of those. Today I'm using pecans, and I'm going to show you, we've already soaked these nuts overnight. My usual tip with soaking nuts is overnight is best. They'll plump up and they'll go through the juicer and get a really rich, creamy nut milk. But if you do forget to throw them through the juice, put them in and soak them overnight, then just pop them with a bit of warm water, and about an hour they'll be good enough to go through the machine. So let me get the chocolate syrup. So I've made some chocolate syrup here, guys. Do this one ahead of time. What's inside here is 2 tablespoons of cacao. cacao powder. It's raw, it's organic. I mix in 2 tablespoons of maple syrup and a little pinch of sea salt. Then what you want to do is just whisk it. Just whisk it, use a fork and just whisk it, whisk it, whisk it. It'll take a minute or so and you'll end up with some delicious chocolate syrup. So I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to pour that over the pecans, the soaked pecans. On the spoon here. And then, look at that, beautiful. So this chocolate milkshake is so much healthier than a standard chocolate milkshake that's maybe made with dairy and the fats from the chocolate. We're just using the cacao powder. Look at that. Mix all that up nice and well. Okay, looks like it's ready to go. So turn the juicer on. I've got the juice strainer in here, so check, that's ready to go. We want a little bit of water, okay? So simple as, just like we did with the first recipe with the blueberries. Spoonful of the pecans in there. Maybe we'll go a couple to start with. And then pour some water into the machine. And what you'll start to see in the juicer is the chocolate milkshake forming. Look at that. Pecans, a bit more milk. No need to rush it, just let the juicer do its job. It's pressing and squeezing the delicious milk out of those nuts and blending it all together. Got a jug here to catch it. Okay, a bit more. Now I really love pecan and chocolate flavour together. They both go really, really well. And I don't know if you can see it here, but it's actually extracting the pecan meal, the nut meal. If you're using almonds, it would be the almond meal. If you're using walnuts, it would be the walnut meal. You can keep that, guys, and put it aside and maybe make some cookies, do some, make some other recipes with that meal. Okay, how much have I got there? It's looking good. A bit more of the pecan. Okay, so totally up to you how much water and how thick or how thin you eventually want the milkshake to turn out. So I usually suggest about a 2-to-1. So if you're using 1 cup of nuts, then use 2 cups of water. But if you want it a bit thicker, use less. If you want it a bit thinner, then just use some more water. Okay, you ready? Let's have a look at this. Look at that. There we go, a chocolate pecan milkshake in a cold press juicer. Pretty cool, hey? Let me see if we can get a nice shot of that one. Okay, so delicious. I know that the family's going to love this one. If you've got the kids that love the chocolate, maybe make them a healthy version of a chocolate milkshake. Let's do the taste test. Oh, 2 hands for this one. The combination of the pecan and chocolate together has a really a bitey flavour to it. I think you're going to really love it. Nice. You guys want to try this one? There we go. Okay, let me just clean up a little bit here. Get rid of that chocolate. Now we want to move on and we want to make, I'm going to show you how we make a smoothie using the cold press juicer. Kuvings have been making juices since 1978, guys, since 1978. They're manufactured in Korea and they are brilliant at what they do. They don't make toasters, they don't make hairdryers, they don't make ovens, they just make juicers and blenders, and they do an amazing job of doing it, which is why you get 20-year warranty, 20-year warranty on the motor of a Kuvings cold press juice. Now I mentioned at the start, this is the EVO820 cold press juicer. It has a bit bigger base. It's a bit wider than our other juices in the range, what that means is that it allows the juicer to run for a longer period of time. So if you're someone who's making 4, 5 litres or more, big family, or maybe doing a juice cleanse or a fast, then getting the EVO820 allows you to make a lot more juice. It can run for an hour or so, easily making heaps of juice for you guys. Okay, let me take that one away. I'm going to come back now. Just clean up this mess. Okay, so time to make a smoothie in the cold pressed juice. This one I'm calling a green energy smoothie, and the reason I call it green energy is because this one's going to give you a lot of energy. It's made with coconut milk, walnuts, baby spinach, and if you're wanting a meal replacement, okay, if you're wanting a meal replacement, this juice is fantastic for doing that exact same job. So maybe instead of getting those meal replacement shakes where you're putting some powder out of a packet and mixing in some water as a meal replacement, try making a smoothie in your cold pressed juicer and using that as a meal replacement. You're going to get a lot more nutrition, a lot more living foods. I guarantee you're going to love it. So how do we put the smoothie together? We need the blades, we need the wiper rotations for that. We need the smoothie strainer. The smoothie strainer goes in and we'll lock that in place and put the press in and closing the lid on that one. So let's have a look. What have we got for this green energy smoothie? I'm going to start with some baby spinach. Okay, I want a couple of handfuls of baby spinach. And what I want to do, because this is a cold press smoothie, it doesn't have metal blades inside it that are spinning and chopping and cutting everything up. It's just squeezing and pressing. So we have to do a little bit of preparation first. So just run your knife through the spinach. This will help it push through the press really easy. So let's just do that. And what I'm going to put there, we've got some coconut milk here. There's that one. And we're going to put some frozen banana again and a few walnuts. Now, I've got a mixing bowl here. I do have a mixing bowl. Thanks, team. I'll just pop that spinach in there. With the walnuts, the same. I don't want to just put the whole walnuts in. So I'm just going to run my knife just across the walnuts like so. Just breaks them up a little bit, helps them go through the press and mixes nice and well with the spinach. Pop that in. We've got some banana here. I'm using some frozen banana. I want a little bit of cold texture coming through the smoothie, but you could, of course, use some fresh banana too. All right, so let's just give that a little bit of a mix around. Perfect. Okay, so I've got some coconut milk here. Again, I'm wanting to use, you could use a nut milk that you made yourself, you could use an almond milk, you could use a Brazil nut milk, of course, which you can make in the juicer. But this one's just a store bought coconut milk, because I really like the coconut milk for energy. It's really, really good for that. All right, so the first thing you want to do, let me show you, put the milk about half. So that's one tin, which is about 400 grams, I think. So you want to put about half into the machine first, and then we can start feeding the other ingredients. And just take your time, let the juicer do the work for you. Remember, as I said, this is not like a normal blended smoothie. We're not cutting up the ingredients. We're squeezing and pressing everything. And I'm going to show you the difference that you get from the juicer versus using a blender. Starting to turn the milk nice and green there. Fantastic. Okay, so we're just going to let that do its thing. I want to get the rest of the milk in there as well, but let me just tell you a little bit about the difference between a cold press smoothie and using a blender. I made this recipe the other day at home using my Kuvings blender. Put all the ingredients in, and the blender, as you know, spins really fast with its metal blades, blending it all up. But what it also does is it sucks oxygen into the smoothie. And as it's blending and blending, it's blending oxygen into the ingredients. What happens then is you'll see the colour of the green changes. It actually starts to oxidize. It fades a little bit. When you use it as a cold press juicer, I'll put the rest of this milk in now. When you're cold pressing it, you're not getting the oxygen spinning and mixed into the smoothie. When you drink it, you can actually taste the texture of the air when you've used a blender. If you've not tried a cold press smoothie before, I really recommend you give it a go, because you're going to notice straight away the texture is totally different. There's more flavour, more nutrition, which is what you want when you're having your smoothies anyway. Otherwise, why are you having a green smoothie? You want it for the health benefits, right? So have a go with your cold press juicer. All right, so let me get a glass here. Okay, I'll just clean up a little bit. So you can see it takes a minute or two just to push it through, but it's definitely worth it for the end result that you're going to get. There is one more advantage I want to tell you about, and that's that you can, once you've made it, if you're not ready to drink it straight away, you can pop it into a bottle, pop it into the fridge, and you can actually keep it for a couple of days in the fridge. There's no way you can keep a smoothie in the fridge when you've made it in a blender, because it's got all that oxygen in there. It'll just start to destroy and break down. Okay, let's have a look here. Look at the colour. Can you see the texture? You probably can't. But it's creamy, it's nutty, and I've used coconut milk there. If you wanted it a little bit thinner, you could use coconut water, which is also has lots of energy and lots of electrolytes and really feeds the brain and all the cells, gives you plenty of energy. Let's have a look at and do the taste test on this one, shall we? I had to have a second one, didn't I? Because it's just too good. I'll hand this one over. There you go, guys. All right, so we've got one more recipe for you today in this masterclass, and it's time to make some juice in the cold press juicer. So let me change over the jug. We'll change the headset as well. Great, so we're back to the original juice strainer now. We're going to make some juice. But I think I'm going to show you, maybe before we start, let's do the citrus attachment, shall we? So let me show you how that goes on. Pull off the headset, get the citrus attachment, and just pop it on. So simple, so easy to use. Turn it on and watch. All I have to do to make juice in the morning. I've got some oranges here, let's give them a go. So, with your orange, cut them in half. I've got some grapefruit there, let's do that as well. So all you want to do, How easy is that? Squeezing and pressing the flesh of the orange. If you're someone who loves the orange in the morning, instead of cleaning the whole juicer, just get the attachment and you can make that plenty of juice. Let's put some ruby red grapefruit in there. How good's ruby red grapefruit? Simple, easy, getting plenty of juice out of those 1.5 fruits really. Let me just pour that in here. Look how much I've got. Almost a good sized cup from just one orange and half a grapefruit. Cheers. I do love ruby red grapefruits. I juice them quite a lot at home. So let's jump back in and make this juice for you. This one's from my book. It's a detox recipe from the Juice Chef book. It's got pear, parsnip, yes, parsnip and pear. Have you ever made a salad at home and you've done pear and parsnip salad? They go really well together. We're going to put some apple, we're going to put some lime, we're going to put some cucumber and show you how we press all these ingredients. Now with the pears, here's the first tip with the pears is make sure they're not really soft. Remember, we're squeezing and pressing. It's not a juicer with blades. Squeezing and pressing. If the pear is really soft, it's just going to go to mush in the juicer. You're not going to get a lot of juice out of it. So make sure you get them when they're still quite hard. I'll show you the preparation here. So we're just going to take the tops off, get rid of that little wooden stem. With the parsnip, it's a bit like carrot, so you just want to cut one cut straight down the middle. It releases the core, which is really tough to press and squeeze. Can you imagine we're squeezing and pressing the whole thing versus the half? That's the best way to do that one. With the cucumber, I'm going to use about half the cucumber. This is quite a large one here. Half a cucumber, just chunks that'll fit easily into the machine. The apple I can place in whole. Remember I showed you before the self-feeding mechanism that comes with the EVO juicer. As long as it fits, you can pop that in whole. Often you find there's this little wooden stem though in the apple. We don't really want that going, so let me just pull that one out. And the other ingredient here is lime. So I don't want to use the lime skin. You could. It's a little bit bitter for the flavour and taste of this recipe. So let's just take it off. And then it's ready to go. We can pop that lime in whole. If you leave a little bit of the zest of the lime on there, that'll be fine. It'll still go through the juicer really easy. Okay, and let's put a little bit of mint in this one. So I've got some mint here. This will add a nice little freshness. The mint and the pear will go together. Have a look at the mint, guys. It often has that wooden stem that runs down the centre of the mint. So we don't want that going through the juicer. So just pick off some leaves. And we can put them in whole. Okay, let's get cracking on making this recipe, shall we? Turn the juicer on. What are we going to put in first? When you're making a cold press juicer, often the order of the ingredients determines how good the quality of the recipe comes out at the end. If you want a really nice minty flavour, put the leaves in first because they'll go inside the press, they'll coat the inside of the strainer. Then when I run the pear and the apple and the cucumber through the juicer, it'll pick up all that beautiful mint flavour. So that's what I'm going to do today. So let's start with the leaf, just crunched up into a little ball. Pop that, let it do its thing. Then we're going to go with the pears next because I want that pear and mint flavour coming through. I don't know if you know, but pear is amazing for the digestive system, and it has a lot of soluble fibre. And yes, the soluble fibre is still in the juice when we cold press, and that's really great to help get the digestive system flowing, so to speak. Whole pears, just chuck them in, they're getting squeezed and pressed. And let's do cucumber next. So we want some cucumber. Cucumber's really soft, it presses really easy. So just cut it in sizes that'll fit into the juicer simply like that. And look, here's another tip for you guys. Remember that when you're juicing with a cold press juicer, this is like your mouth, okay? This is like your stomach. This is what we're eliminating, right? And this is what we're going into our bloodstream. So when we're feeding the juicer, don't overfeed it. Don't just, because it's got a big gap at the top and you can just throw stuff in, there's this tendency to just start throwing stuff in, right? That's like you just shoveling stuff into your mouth, squeezing and pressing with your teeth, right? Go slowly, let the juicer do the work, because it'll make it so much easier to clean. It'll make sure that everything flows well, and that's exactly what pears do in the body, right? They help everything flow. In goes the whole apple. You might be able to catch that on the camera, that it is actually just crushing and squeezing it. With the parsnip, I can just drop that in, and the press will pull it down, squeeze it and press it. There's the second one, in goes. Have you ever juiced parsnip before? Maybe not, but I'm telling you, it's really nice flavour in a juice, and an underrated vegetable for its nutrition. So next time you're out shopping and you see some parsnips, go over and grab them, go home and add them to a juice. A little bit of lemon to finish this one off. Pop the whole thing in whole. And if I've got a cup here, let's put it into a bottle, shall we? Look how much juice I've got here. There's probably easily half a litre there, and that is up to you whether that's one serve or two serves. I like to think of it as one serve. Look how light the green colour is. Now, there wasn't a lot of green ingredients that went into that juice, right? I put a little bit of mint and the green apple, but the advantage again of a cold press juicer is it squeezes and presses even the nutrients from the skin of the apple. And that is why we want to drink more cold press juice, because often in the skin of the parsnip, the skin of the ingredients has a lot of nutrition in there, and we want to get that into our bodies as well. Let's do the taste test on this one. Oh, so good. The pear gives it that real thick, soluble fibre texture. The lime gives it that little bit of tang. The mint brings out this little bit of freshness, which you're gonna love, I guarantee you. It's a juice chef recipe. It was good enough to make the book. It's a winner for sure. All right, so we're just about come to the end of today's masterclass. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to offer you as well. Kuvings has said, with this cold press juicer, if it's something that you haven't got yet, then there's going to be a link in the description somewhere below where you can get all those extra accessories, the sorbet maker, the smoothie maker, the citrus attachment. You're going to get a copy of my book. You're going to get all of that thrown in for free. That's normally $200 worth of extra accessories. We're going to give that away for free with the juicer. Just click on the link that is in the description below. Now, normally this juicer is $899. We're also going to do an extra special. I'm going to take $100 off the machine, so $799 plus the $200 worth of extras. You're saving $300 on one of the top of the range Kuvings cold press juices just by clicking that link. Now, the other thing is you might already have the machine, right? And as I said, I've inspired you to make some extra recipes today. So we're also going to offer those accessories if you don't have them. The $200 worth of accessories, we'll do them for half price, 50% off. There's a second offer in the bottom of that description. Click on that one, get yourself the accessories and start making some sorbet, start trying some smoothies and making some juices with the citrus attachment. I think everyone's pulled out, let me have a look here. Let's bring out all those recipes that we just made. And I've got something else a little extra here for you. Let me show you this, just to finish up. Hopefully you can see it here. See these little molds? They look like this. Okay, they're molds that you can buy from the Kuvings website, and you can pour your juice or your milkshake or your smoothie into the molds, pop them into the freezer, and you've made yourself some beautiful ice cream or ice blocks. Very popular with the kids. We sell a bunch of those on the website, and I know you're going to love them. They come in red, they come in clear, and you get the sticks as well. So that's everything from me today. We've made the ice cream, a blueberry mint ice cream. We've made the chocolate pecan nut milk. We've made the smoothie. Look at that smoothie, that green energy cold press smoothie. And of course, the beautiful Pear Necessities cold press juice. I'll give a little shout out to one of my teachers, Jason Vale, the juice master in the UK. He's inspired me to make that recipe and call it the Pear Necessity juice. I know you're gonna love it when you try it. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen. It's been a lot of fun. We've made a lot of great recipes. Until next time, happy juicing.